narrow alley, tucked away in the ancient labyrinth of Fez, not far from the great Al-Qarawiyyin Mosque, there was a small shop. Its old wooden door was always slightly ajar, as if extending a humble invitation to enter another world. It was not a world of commerce, nor of loud conversation. No, it was a world of silence, of patience, and of a remembrance spoken only by the hands. This was the workshop of Si Mohammed El-Fassi. Though his name may be forgotten by history, the work of his hands is still etched by time onto the walls of Fez's schools and its palaces. Before he was a malem, a master, Si Mohammed was just a SP, a young boy. He ran through the Medina's alleyways, like all the other children. But he kept a secret. He was in love with color. He would stand for hours, mesmerized by the intricate tile work that adorned the public fountains and the doorways of homes. The deep blue of Fez, the green of Islam, the yellow of the sun. He saw entire stories within them. When he turned 10, his father took him to the workshop of one of the great Zellige Masters of the time, Malem Abdelkader. He was a man with a stern face, his hands large and rough like the clay itself. But his eyes held the knowledge of 100 years. The first thing Si Mohammed learned was not the craft, it was silence. Malem Abdelkader used to tell him, "Zeli has no love for idle chatter. It requires the remembrance of the heart and the focus of the soul." His beginnings were humble. He would sweep the workshop floor. He would gather the shards of broken tiles. He would prepare the clay for his master, mixing it with his hands until it was as smooth as silk. He watched his master for hours as he worked. He memorized the names of the geometric patterns, as if he were memorizing verses from the Quran. This is Al-Khatim. This is the 8-pointed star. This is Al-Mutaman. He learned with his eyes long before he learned with his hands. He learned that every tile, no matter how small, has its precise place in the universe, and that no two tiles are ever exactly alike. He learned patience, the patience of the earth as it waits for water, the patience of the water as it waits for the fire of the kiln, and the patience of the fire as it pulls a new color from the heart of the clay. With time, Si Mohammed's hands began to understand the language of the clay. He learned how to strike with the menkach, a strike, tak, a strike, tak, a strike, tak. It wasn't just a strike. It was like a note plucked on an oud. Every strike had to be measured. Too soft, and the tile would not break. Too hard, and the tile would shatter. He would sit all day, cutting the same shape, tiny stars, small squares, hexagons. His hands began to ache. His back grew sore. His eyes burned from the dust. But his heart began to feel a deep sense of peace. In that, tuck, 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 the rest of the world would disappear. There were no alleyways, no people, no market. There was only him, the tile, and his hammer. He spoke to the tile with each strike, and the tile answered him with the shape that emerged. It was his own private prayer. And then the moment arrived. The Sultan of the time, Abu Inan Faris, decreed that he would build the most beautiful madrasa in all of Morocco, the Bou Inaniya Madrasa. He wanted its walls to speak of the beauty of creation. And so, the masters of Fez were summoned. Si Mohammed, who by then had become a master in his own right, was called upon. This was not an ordinary job. It was a sacred commission. It was an amana, a trust. He would wake before dawn, walking to the work site while the world was still dark. He would study the large, complex patterns the engineers had drawn on parchment, designs as intricate as celestial mathematics. And from them, he would extract smaller stories. He would take the grand design and deconstruct it in his mind into thousands upon thousands of tiny tiles. For each tile, he knew its color and he knew its place. The years passed. The madrasa was completed, and students began to fill its halls. And Si Muhammad returned to his humble workshop. His hair had turned white. His back was more stooped, but his hands still knew the way of the tile. One day, a young boy came to him, his eyes shining with the same light that had been in Si Muhammad's eyes so long ago. The master sat beside his new apprentice. He took the boy's small hand in his. He didn't say, "Strike it like this." He said, "Feel the tile. Listen to what it tells you." He said, "This is not just clay. This is a secret of the earth. And this work is not just a craft. It is a trust. I received it from a master before me. And today, I'm giving it to you. Do not betray it." Si Muhammad passed away. He was buried with the same simplicity with which he lived. His name was forgotten with time. But Si Muhammad did not truly die. His spirit remains in every tile he cut. His breath remains in the colors he mixed. His silent prayer remains in a sublime order that brings all those tiny, broken pieces together into a perfect, harmonious whole. The next time you stand before a wall of Zellige in Fez, or in Meknes, or anywhere in Morocco, do not just see the patterns and the colors. Try to listen. And if you focus, you might just hear the faint, rhythmic sound of a small hammer striking clay. Tack, tack, tack. The sound of a master engraving his life story in the language of silence.